had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. I'm giggling because I've given a little speech about what's going to happen when we go live, and then I actually forgot to hit the go live button and I couldn't work out why it wasn't working. So we're going to do good today. This is going to be a good one. I'm obviously Mike, as you can tell by the professionalism. Joining me today, we've got Josh and Gabrielle. We're going to be talking about the defeat against Grimsby as quickly as possible. Don't forget, you can help with cost to support the show with one-off donations or regular subscriptions by joining us on Patreon. Find out more details on the website, which is suttonpodcast.com, or drop me a message by any of the socials. And thank you to everyone who is currently supporting me. I would just like to say hello, Josh. It's nice to see you sort of live, as opposed to last time when I kind of spliced everything together. How are you?
I'm good. I'm live in the flesh. Licking my wounds after the 7-0 defeat. Sorry for all the viewers to not be there live. Had to watch that massacre. But no, apart from that, I'm all good.
Well, fun enough, I was going to be mentioning that, but thanks for taking that away
Oh,
from me. My little bit of joy. And Gabrielle, it's about a month since you were last on. So how have you been?
Good. I was optimistic until yesterday evening.
Always optimistic, and then they have to snatch it away from us.
Yeah.
So before we get into the game fully, I have set you guys some homework. I get a lot of conversations about this Ultimate 11, asking why X player and that player isn't in the team, but then no one ever sends me a video to say why their player should be in the team. But unfortunately, you don't get away with it because you're on and live on air. So just going to do a little intro music, and I'll come back to you and I'll ask you for your selections, who you'd like replaced in the Ultimate Team, and then more importantly, why your player should be in the team. So just a brief little explanation as why. It doesn't matter if you choose the same position because we'll have a three-way vote. It doesn't even matter if you choose the same player because we'll still have a vote. But 1 second.
And now, 125 years in the making. The Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. Sutton United all-time Ultimate 11.
So, Gabrielle, we'll start with you. Who would you like to challenge, and who is your challenger?
Well, as I said also last time when I was in, I am handicapped by the fact that aside the game against Leeds, which I saw on TV in 2017, I only saw Sutton United play starting with the summer of 2020.
That's fine.
So I can only mention players that have played recently. At least I would choose one that is not anymore in the team, which is Dean Buzanis, which for me is the guy who gifted us Wembley, basically. And that was not only by what he did at Wigan, when he scored and also saved 2, but also what he did before in the first eliminatory round against Stevenage, when he saved 3 consecutive penalties. 2 of them were survival bound. So to me, this is a great performance from him. Also, he, besides some mistakes at the beginning of the season with Cardiff, especially the one that he drops. But besides that, he had a very solid season, and he was on my list of the players that probably would not stay with us for the.
I mean, what you might not have seen at Wigan, I'm sure most people have seen it by now, is not only did he save and score, but he also destroyed the opposition goalkeeper's notes on which way people went. So he ripped up his notes and completely ruined the other goalkeeper's plans. But that's worth a mention anyway. So Joshy, who would you like to go with your vast experience?
Well, yeah, I've got the same same experience basically. I can only choose people from recent. I was going to take on our top goal scorer, but I thought no, won't do that. So I'll go Craig. I'm sorry to do this to you again, and I'll replace you with Maxime Biamu, please. There's rumours that he's coming back, and I think he's a great striker, and I enjoyed watching him play. I really enjoyed him. His time there at Sutton, and I think, yeah, let's see how he does against Craig. But Craig, sorry again, it's been Tom, Rory, Dave. I don't know how many others, but yeah, sorry, Craig.
No one else is going to get that, Josh, because I didn't show that to anyone else. But Craig sent Josh a happy birthday message asking him why he was his former favourite player and got replaced by all these other people who's left us. So I expect to get an abusive message at some point to pass on to Josh. But lovely. I will put that out for the vote. We'll see if Dino can shift Gary McCann and Maxime Biamu can shift Craig Dundas. And obviously you'll see the results shortly. Now, on to the match. So let's start with some positives. The pizza was lovely, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
Yes. I came half an hour early, especially to get the pizza. Really, it's hard. If you know a place with good pizza here in Sutton, please tell it to me, because I haven't found it in these two and a half years. I've looked one in Cashalton that I'm going to try the following week. The ginger Italian.
Yeah.
Maybe it's close, but no, you don't have real Italian pizza here in Sutton.
No.
Sorry to say that.
There's I'm not promoting them. I don't do anything like that. And there's the Faraway place in Rose Hill, or they used to be good. I don't know if they still are or not. I'm a poor man. I can't afford to take away pizza anymore. But no, it's nice to have things a bit slightly different, different fare. Josh, you and I were kind of saying that it felt like it was worth the money. Obviously, things can always be a bit cheaper, but it felt like you didn't feel like, oh, that's a bit of a rip-off.
And to tell you a secret, actually, the two guys that were working there were Romanians.
Oh, were they?
Oh, were they?
Did you think it was cheaper?
Well, what I say is that if you want a good pizza, the guy who makes the pizza has to be Italian, or second best, a Romanian who has stayed 10 years in Italy.
There was one comment from someone who I'm sure it will be mentioned in the Gandemonian blog, who I suspect he was talking about pizza, but he said he could do with an extra couple of inches, but we hope he was talking about pizza. But yeah, no, I think it's nice to mix it up a little bit, have slightly different food, and I mean, it's not always a choice you can have to say, right, I'm going to skip dinner and grab something to eat at the ground, because it's not always the greatest options. But well done to anyone who's involved in that, and I look forward. Obviously, I think the pizza's there for the next one as well, and then look forward to see what they get after.
Yeah.
So, tried my very best. I know you were doing the gates last night, Gabrielle. You're on gate number 2, but I waited outside gate number 1 for Mark to come back because I have to use gate number 1. I waited a good few minutes, didn't I, Josh?
I was like, where is it? Is he lost? What's happening? And I see the guy coming back to the gate. Like, oh my God, he's going through gate 1. And he's the first one who comes through. Oh my God. The
stewards kept laughing at me going, you can go in any of them. No, I can't. I have to go. Although now we've lost, maybe I can try a different gate because it's clearly changed the luck. But Josh, what was your thoughts on the lineup pre-game?
Lineup was all right again. I felt, I wasn't. Strikers was a little bit of an interesting one. I thought Donovan would have maybe started. I felt maybe. I was like, I could have given him a chance, birthday and everything like that. But apart from that, no, it was pretty solid team. I felt pretty confident going into the match. Yeah.
Right, it's not Little League. They don't get people to play just because it's their birthday.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to have 20 minutes. So, Gabriel, what were your thoughts at lineup? Obviously, no Omar, no Craig.
The same. I was expecting Donovan to start as a birthday gift.
Yeah.
And I thought also that leaving Eastmond on the bench was a brave choice. Yeah. As we lost, it becomes a debatable choice. But
I mean, the reason, clearly Grimsby didn't bother reading the script. They were supposed to just turn up and say have the points and be concentrating on the cup. But Craig was one booking away from I think a 2 or even a 3 match ban. So if he played and picked up a booking last night, we would have lost him for a lot more. So I think that was the decision behind not playing Craig. Mm-hmm. It's kind of potentially a little unfortunate that it was the same day that we let Adam go on loan, because potentially that's a bit more like for like. But I think Harry would be really sort of unlucky to be kept out of the side again by another player as well. But I mean, Omar, I think he said picked up an injury. And I can't remember the other one I got wrong. There was another one I got. Oh, well, I left Sam in the side and not Rob. Obviously, that's a difficult one because you need Rob for some of the set piece deliveries. But as Matt said, a bit disappointing. It's one of those nights. I think, Josh, we looked at each other after about 5 minutes and was like, we could go home now. We can see how this is going to happen. Yeah. But what were your thoughts? Essentially, the first half. First of all, let's say.
Well, I think like everyone else, first 20 minutes just was not there. It were asleep basically. Then we had a little bit of a spell of 10 minutes where it was like, oh, okay, we're getting into the game a little bit more. And then the rest of the first half was just flat, just really, really flat. That's all I can say. Yeah.
And Gabriel, what were your thoughts?
I think we reacted after their goal. We reacted and we had some attempts. It wasn't, but this lasted for 15 minutes in the first half and 5 in the second, and then everything went back in the way the first half an hour went. And we need to win. We're the team coming from behind, and we need to get back on good teams. Stockport, even Mansfield, though we had the 9 points in 9 with them, I think, until now. But there are such good teams ahead of us, and we need to come back, and we need to start pushing from the first minute. And this the second home game in which for the first half an hour we don't turn up, as was the one against Crew. And it was this talk that was on our forums and on our any conversations, even when I spoke with Mark on the gate, that Grimsby is not turning up, that they only have 2 from their first 11, and it will be an easy win. And I feel that somehow also the team fell for it.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I fell into it myself by pointing out that when we had the FA Cup run, the week before we played Arsenal, we played Dover, and our weekend signer got absolutely smashed 6-0. So I kind of was, we'll be fine. Obviously not. But I mean, obviously we've watched Sutton for a while. You guys less than me, and you guys have had mostly definitely successful. But how does it make you how do you feel when you're watching the team just knowing that it's not going to pan out? Do you think that it's definitely not going to pan out, or did you still have that glimmer of, well, you know what, if we could get one, we'll win?
Yeah. So thinking
because with Crew, I had the distinct impression that if the game would have lasted only 3 minutes more, we would have won it. Yeah. But with Crew, there was a reaction. Matt was also brave and did something that he never did, and was that he changed 4 players at the same time. Mm-hmm. And the last 15 minutes, we were all over them. But yesterday, nothing came.
I mean, they actually scored. I think it was we had quite a good chance with Harry. Where
Yeah, just before their goal.
Yeah, I think he headed over,
Yeah.
which was a bit sort of surprising because he's normally quite good in that position. And then they went up the other end and scored.
But he was confused by the fact that another player jumped from our team, under the ball just in front of him. So he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't knew he will get it.
And that's a thing that's had a couple of conversations. At the game, I was struggling because obviously we were on the curver, and when the ball was down the far left-hand side, I really struggled with the kits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was struggling. I mean, I'm assuming that when they're on the pitch, it's a lot clearer. But what was it like from your side, Gabriel? Was it similar that you struggled to see who was who?
There was no contrast between yellow
Yeah.
and pink.
Yeah,
but
it was a difficult one. But yeah, I mean, the 20 minutes you mentioned, Josh, it's quite funny you mentioned that because I actually tweeted on 20 minutes going, how has this game only been 20 minutes? It feels like we've been here for days because it was just that dull. I mean, Matt was very quick and he's quite right to point out this is our first defeat in 9 games. And I think in 15 games, it's only our second. So he is right to point that out. We're never going to go on a massive unbeaten run for the rest of the season, winning every single game. But I had definitely earmarked this as one that we were going to get the 3 points. If we got 3 points from either one of the games over the weekend, Barrow or this one, we would be in the playoffs at this moment. Obviously, with more games played and so on. But he mentioned again substitutions. Didn't really have the spark that they've had recently. Josh, you mentioned that the strikers having different options now. What did you feel of the subs not?
Yeah, I mean, so it was Killian who came on, wasn't it? And
Killian and Donny came on different times.
yeah, they came on. I mean, Donovan was a bit physical and shielding it and holding it up a little bit. But Killian was trying, but it just didn't feel like it was just clicking. I don't know if those two just haven't played recently or I don't know. It just felt the connection was off between the whole team basically. It was just, but then when those two came on, it's just like, come on, okay, liven up, all right, new pace, and it was like, okay, no, we can stay at the same pace as we were for the last 70 minutes, wherever it was. So, yeah.
Gabriel, what was your thoughts on the subs?
First of all, I was happy to see at the beginning Angol and Dennis being given a chance because when they came from the bench, more or less they produced something almost at every game. And then it was again the example when you're asking why don't they play in the first 11, and when they play in the first 11, you understand. Oh, okay, that's why. But they gave us very little, very little. That was a good chance from Dennis, but that was all they produced.
I mean,
the game.
The people putting together the highlights, it did look like there was a few chances in the game. So well played to them, but I don't remember a huge amount of chances. And I think we may have had 2 shots or attempts at goal, and I think one of them was Will Randall's backwards header that kind of went way up in the air, and the keeper caught nice and easily.
Yeah, and the last chance in the highlight is Dennis at 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So the last 40 minutes, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I mean, we do now have a sort of a little chance to recharge. We've got 10 days, I think, now till the next game, which is, as you've mentioned, Mansfield. We will come on to some thoughts on that in a moment. Do you think the break's going to do them well? I mean, they're not completely resting because I don't know if anyone's heard that on Saturday there's an open training session at Gander Green Lane, so you can go along and watch. I think it's 10 till 12 off the top of my head, but double check that. And you can kind of see Matt putting players through the paces. And the one time I've seen it was confusing and it was hard work. I was knackered just watching them. But what do you think, Gabriel? If we'll start with you, what do you think? Do you think they need the chance to recharge, or are you happy?
Yes. I remember also last year that even if in our good spells, when we had 2 games in a week, we didn't do good. That was a constant. So now we had 4 games in 10 days, and I think this counted too in what we seen yesterday. They look tired to me. They look tired, maybe not even just physically, but also mentally. That we didn't try much. We had two good moments with Kizzy and Ajiboye on the right in the second part of the first half, and that's all I saw basically. Also, Will Randall, which was our best offensive weapon for so many games, seems to became more discreet in the last few games.
Yeah.
Josh, what did you think of the layoff for 10 days? What do you think?
It's always going to be tough when you go into a long break loss. You go into I've got 10 days to reflect on that loss. But I do think it will do well for them to have a rest, recuperate, because as Gabriel said, they did look tired yesterday. I mean, I know Grimsby were quite a physical team, but we normally win headers and we were quite physical too, and it just felt like we weren't winning everything that we kind of were supposed to, like a normal Sutton game. So, yeah, I think the rest will do well. Obviously, Matt won't let them rest too hard, and keep focus on the Mansfield game. But yeah, we have to wait and see how it goes at Mansfield. Yeah.
I mean, that's possibly a point. I mean, obviously, everyone says how terrible and monsters we are, and we're physical. And I think Dan was kind of pointing out that the last few games, teams have come and kicked absolute lumps out of us, but we're the physical side, we're the dirty side. Was it the fact that we're normally so much bigger than everyone else, and suddenly we're faced with a team like Grimsby who are actually just as big, if not some of their players bigger than ours? It could confuse us.
That's what I think that was the main thing. Yeah.
Gabriel, what did you think?
There's always two sides on the pitch, and it's hard to establish if it was us playing really bad or it was also them defending very well. What they did to me, I'm no expert, but I felt that they dropped deeper than other teams, and it's harder to open them up when they drop deeper, especially with our game.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, because obviously we rely on maybe Dave running at them. But if they've got no space to run into, it's they can let him run, but he's got the byline.
And also I haven't seen much, but on the left side, being on the other part, but Randall was blocked by 2-3 people sometimes.
Yeah. So
they learned his game already.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So just before we kind of move on a little bit to the next game and the rest of the season. You do have the task of picking out some players for the player of the day. It's always hard when it's either a great game or not so great game. But I'm going to come back to you in a second, and I'll ask you your first choice each of player of the day. It can be. Remember, let's reiterate. It can be for any reason you like. It's not necessarily the best player. Whatever you want from yesterday. Why you think someone should be player of the day.
Now watch me do my dance, I'm the player of the day.
So, Josh, I'm going to start with you this time because you went second last time. Okay, Josh has disappeared from your screen. That's out.
Have I?
You're still there. Go on.
Am I here? Yeah.
You are,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. Sorry. Right, let's see. You know what? I mean, he is my favourite player at the moment. I'll go for Ali. Because I did think, even though there were some moments where his touch was off and passes, I did think he was the one in there who had the best game in midfield, and best of kind of a bad performance, I guess. So yeah, I'll go with Ali as first choice.
Ali's your first choice. Gabriel, who's your first choice?
Well, I picked David Ajiboye because he created our two of our 3 chances, let's say.
Okay, sorry everyone. And Josh, who's your second choice?
That's your first chance. We'll go for Matt Dennis. I mean, he was trying, and I could see the energy and like the will to try and sort it out. So yeah, I'll go for him.
Okay, and Gabriel, your second and final choice.
In the absence of Eastmond, which was always my easy choice because he's always playing at least at a certain level, I'm going for Ben Goodleaf for the same reason, because I feel that he's behind our comeback and that he is, without having an armband, the real leader of the team on the pitch.
Yeah, we're very lucky with some of the leaders we've got on our pitch, to be fair. Okay, wicked. I'll put them all out, and no doubt people will make comment on that, but it's your choices, guys. So there we go. Right, so a little bit of a rest, as we said. Then we've got Mansfield, which, Gabriel, as you said, we've got 9 from 9. All these runs end at some point, but it's a huge game for us. Obviously they've got games in between, but they're currently just above us, and we could potentially go above them depending on how their other results go. How do you see it going?
It's for me the question. I haven't.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Of course, we can only hope that we will do what we did last time at Mansfield, which was a super victory and a very important one too. But they will take their precautions. They are a good team, and I'm sure they know they have 0 out of 9, as we knew against Swindon, and they will want to change that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they'll be full of their motivation to do it. Joshy, how do you sort of see it going?
It's going to be close. I think if we perform well, don't perform like we did last night, but if we perform well, I think it's going to be a close game. The gut feeling is saying if we've got 9 out of 9, we'll probably get 12 out of 12. So I'm going to say we probably will be close, but we'll win it.
Okay, I love the confidence. Yeah, I mean, I can just imagine the same as you mentioned we do against Swindon. Going, we've got to get a win against these guys. We've got to turn it around. So I'm sure they'll kind of move it there. So 9 games to go. I think most of them are against sides above us in the league, or around us at least. If we were to get points from them, we could have a good shot at it. But those games are going to be absolutely vital, aren't they? You're going to have teams going for the points themselves, which means they've got to attack us, which may play into our strengths rather than teams sitting back and us having to try and break them down. Because we have definitely noticed that on games where we have most of the possession, we seem to struggle. The games where we have 28% possession, we're like, yeah, we won that 2-0. So, I mean, how do you sort of see the run-in? We'll start with you, Josh, on this one. How do you sort of see it going?
It's a tough one. As you said, those games are so crucial to our season. But again, we're in a position for a second year in a row in League 2 going, oh my God, we could get playoffs here, and we'll be disappointed if we don't get it. I was like, that's crazy. I think we still need to think like that. Like, we are doing so well. I left a few weeks ago, and I'm thinking we're like 16th or something like that, and we've gone and we're 9th, or we're right there. So we've had an amazing run. I think whatever we finish is still going to be a good season. I think we might get playoffs. So I'll say we'll get playoffs. To be optimistic, we'll do that. Yeah.
I've been saying playoffs since about Christmas time, or maybe even before Christmas time. I never in a million years thought I'd be anywhere close to getting right. But I was saying. So Gabriel, what do you think on the run-in? I mean, we've got Mansfield, we've got Stockport, that's at home, we've got Bradford away, we've got Leyton Orient at home, we've got Northampton, and then Carlisle on the last day of the season, which obviously could be a crucial game, but they're going for automatics, and we could potentially be going for playoffs.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look good. And I've seen just before the Grimsby game an estimation. I don't know who made it. It was reposted either by you or by Gandermonium. That gave us only 50% chance of playoffs. That was before the Grimsby game, so now it should be probably 5%. But I'm sure that we will get some surprises, and we will beat some of these teams. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Either we are able to obtain constant results and to get the points to take us to the playoff. That's a different story. And I feel that in a way it's better for us to get rid of this playoff pressure and just say, okay, any position above 10 is absolutely fine after half of how it went for half of the season. and whatever comes, it's just a bonus.
Yeah, no, I think Jane tweeted another one just before we started that they did the second half of the season, and when you get to the halfway point of the season, we're top from the halfway point of the season on to now. So it was like, oh, okay, if only we had a reasonable start. I mean, typical Sutton, I have a feeling that we're going to get results against some of those big sides, and then we'll end up losing to Rochdale, who would already be relegated at that point. Yay! But yeah, I mean, I said to someone earlier, I'd rather finish 9th than 8th. I'd rather finish further away from it than just miss out again, because that would be a little bit gutting. But yeah, whatever. I mean, it was Andy that said, if we finish in the top 10, this is going to be... Oh, and he said top half, actually. This will be a successful season, considering what we had to put up with at the start of it. But yeah, it's all looking good. It's all fun. But thank you very much, gents. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I will leave it there. My voice managed to just about hold out. So standing in that miserable weather clearly didn't do very well for me last night. But I'm pretending I'm not ill. It's fine. I'll be fine. I'm not overly sure what I'm going to do on Sunday. There's going to be various different interviews I'm doing on Saturday, Friday and Saturday. So I'll have something out on Sunday. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it'll be yet, but I'm sure there'll be something. And thanks for listening. And please don't forget to let me know what you think of the podcast on any of the socials at Sutton Podcast. Subscribe on your preferred platforms. Let me know if it's not on your preferred platform. And yeah, all that other stuff, you know, smash that like button or whatever the kids say these days. I don't know. What are they supposed to say, Josh? Is that right? Was that right?
I think you're good. I think that's good terminology. Yeah.
His eye, anyone who's not watching the video, his eyes literally rolled to the back of his head. Then. But thank you all. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time, gents, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.